as they did towards the end of the first half, but that sweeper role with Marty Clark operating and Danny Hughes working very hard around the middle of the field has worked quite effectively for the down boys. Pat McEnany will restart the game. 35 minutes to decide who's going to be heading back to Croke Park on the 3rd Sunday in September, the 19th, to face Cork in a unique All-Ireland senior football final. Mark Poland gives it down to Benny Coulter. And Down have this habit of switching players around and have the talent to be versatile, flexible. They can play in various positions. Here's Benny Coulter. He's having a go, and it's curling right and wide, making it 7 wides for Kildare in this All-Ireland semi-final. Question is, can Kildare get back into this game? When you consider the midfield area, it's now acknowledged that it is a problem. Perhaps one Sweeney can make a difference. When it bypasses midfield, the down corner backs are latching on. Damien Rafferty is fouled, but much more greater concern is Declan Rooney, who is a former captain when Ross Carr, that you saw Joanne interviewing, was manager. There's a yellow card for Ona Flaherty for the challenge on Declan Rooney. Noel Rice, the down physio, pointing out Declan Rooney, who plays his club football with Burren. Didn't play in the National Football League. Normally plays either fullback or midfield for his club. They're now going to bring him to the sideline for some greater attention. In the meantime, it's Down in the attack. Danny Hughes scored 2 points in the first half. Difficult enough angle. Good hands from Shane McCormick. Lays it off despite the challenge from Benny Coulter, who to his credit leant back and apologised for that late challenge. Here comes Eamon Callaghan along the sideline. Marty Clark right beside him. Clark fouls. Free to Eamon Callaghan. From Nix on the panel for the last 8 years. Lays it back, fires Morgan O'Flaherty. Over this side is Eamon Callaghan. Gives it into the middle to O'Flaherty. Also a man that scored in the first half. Good hands from James Kavanagh. Did well under pressure. Gives it back to Ronan Sweeney. Point to prove. Gives it to Ferris's left half forward on O'Flaherty, floating this one in. McVeigh is underneath it. Good hands. He's behind the line, but was the ball. And have a look at that in a moment as Kevin McKernan comes forward from centre half back. Captained Abbey, CBS and Uri. Their only All-Ireland Colleges title back in 2006, and Down play themselves out with good football. Down towards Mark Poland, gets there ahead of Peter Kelly. It's full forward John Clark, in fact. Down fires corner forward. Benny Coulter is now at corner forward, brought to ground by Hugh McGrillen, and that is a free in for Down. And for dissent from McGrillen, the ball is brought nearer the posts and makes it much easier for Down to score. So a chance for Marty Clark to add to his tally. Just 1 point, and while he's only scored 1 point, I think, Kevin, you'd agree he's been a major influence in this first half.
Oh, absolutely. We spoke about him in the scene set at the beginning, the influence this guy. As I said, you just want him on the ball as much as possible because he's real quality.
Second point. Ex-Collingwood footballer in Australia, returned to Down last September and now works with players like Benny Coulter as a full-time GA coach. Declan Rooney still getting a little bit of attention along the sideline. Nipping in is Morgan O'Flaherty. Not a good ball. Tremendous determination by Damien Rafferty, because really he shouldn't have gotten near that ball. But the cornerback was right on it. Just watch this. Keep an eye on the number 4 here. When the ball came in, he went in and bravely went between the two Kildare footballers. He didn't win the referee's decision. It's a free for Kildare. Just outside the 45. Hit in. But hit wide. Opportunities being wasted. The last one off the boot of O'Flaherty. Kildare didn't score since the 27th minute of the first half. We've already got 5 minutes, so you're approaching about 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah, 6-point gap now, so if ever they're going to do it, they need to get cracking shortly. This is a massive test for Kildare now.
Caelan King wins possession, gives it back eventually. That's Conor Garvey. Benny Coulter back at left half forward again. You see what I mean by they keep interchanging. Still Coulter gives it everything. Hits a shot across the face of the goal and wide.
I think Joe Brawley has his number absolutely right. He's just trying that bit too hard. I'm really surprised he tried from that angle. Should have developed it a wee bit to his right and looked for the foul, but very ambitious even for a player of his absolute ability.
Loose ball comes down towards Ronan Sweeney, gives it long. Down for his Eamon Callaghan. Not a great ball inside. Plenty of down defenders. Kevin Kernan got a boot to it. Got it out for his Conor Garvey. Ball goes astray. Kildare have the time. And they've got the point. It took a long time for it to drop over the crossbar, but it got there eventually. Emmett Bolton is the scorer. Had a bit of a wayward shot in the first half, but you have to give the centre back credit. He did well here. It was a bit of a skyscraper one, but it come down just inside the post eventually.
Yeah, and a dreadful ball out of defence. Down had that so safely secured and hand passed it straight to Bolton. He obliged.
5 points between the teams again, as it was at the break. Hugh Lynch runs on, nice ball laid off from Aaron Smith. There's a goal chance here, off the post, comes back out for his own O'Flaherty. Will he be satisfied with the point? Can he scoop it inside? No, he can't. Ball is wide.
Well, what a chance.
What a chance is right, Kevin.
He did, in fairness, Marty, what more could he do? Inches, hit the post, but this should have been put over, and the umpire got that spot on. It was wide.
It was Eamon O'Callaghan coming through here, hit a shot, and it literally took the paint off the woodwork. Heartbreak for Kildare. Vital moments in an All-Ireland semi-final. Clearly a square ball in the first half. Clear opportunity for Eamon Callaghan in the second, and it hits off the post. Do you feel, even at this stage, that the luck is going with Down? Johnny Doyle, leader, captain, inspiration. And a free here, and a point will be invaluable. Has already scored 4 from the first half. Back in 2000, when he first appeared in a Kildare team, the Lily Whites won Leinster. Scored a goal and 43 points in this journey coming into this match. Focusing, he's concentrating, and he is scoring. A vital point for Kildare, and he's now level with Bernard Brogan in terms of top scorer of the Championship 2010. Coming on for Kildare is Carl Ennis. And there's a change, obviously, with Ona O'Flaherty coming off. So Carl Ennis is on, that's 22 for 12. And Down have changed their half-back line with Aidan Brannigan coming on for Conor Garvey. Kick out by Brendan McVeigh. Punched forward by Hugh Lynch. Kicked back into the Kildare half of the field by left corner back Damien Rafferty. Ball given away by Ronan Sweeney. The initiative now swings to down. Marty Clark given the pass from Mark Poland. Goes long. Good defending by Kildare. Getting there first was Hugh McGrillen, and he's at the end of the move here. Puts it in front of the forward. No better man than Johnny Doyle. Captain looking around for a little bit of support, and a second time a pass goes astray. And the second time it's Kildare to come away with it. John Clark to brother Marty. Down to left half forward Paul McCluskey. Inside is Peter Fitzpatrick. Gets inside the cover. And the second one hits a shot. Brilliantly blocked down. Comes back and the goalkeeper is there. Wonderful defending by Kildare. And if anything is going to inspire the Lily Whites, surely goalkeeper and corner back have to take the credit. When passes go astray, down counter-attack, and it's left to the brilliance of Shane McCormack and his defence to save the day. Ronan Sweeney gave the ball away initially, lays it off for his Carl Ennis. A point would be huge for Kildare, but it is wide. 4 points still between the teams. As Down make another substitution. This time it's Conor McGinn, who normally plays in the full forward line, is on, and going off is John Clark. In Kildare there's a change as well. There's John Clark going off, and he's been replaced by Conor McGinn. David Lyons is on for Kildare, and it's Morgan O'Flaherty that's gone off, the right half back.
I think it might have been him that made that block a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago. Certainly a great defensive play.
Punched on by Ronan Sweeney, picked up by David Lyons. Emmett Bolton tries to put it in the path of James Kavanagh, trying to get him more involved. Gets away, at least momentarily, from right corner back Daniel McCarthy. Ball comes loose, plenty of red and black jerseys. Bearing out of goal there is Declan Rooney. Johnny Doyle has it now, floats one in. It's an easy ball for the keeper, Brendan McVeigh. Surely will switch the direction of play down this way. Kevin McKernan. Certainly the tempo and the pace of the game has increased since the break. Giving it long. Aidan Brannigan. Picked up here by Declan Rooney. Gives it short, fires Danny Hughes, and Down will try and calm matters down. Marty Clark. Available in the middle is Peter Fitzpatrick. Swallowed up here by David Lyons. Fouled. Free for Down. Free is going to be quickly taken. Over the side, chasing after Benny Coulter. Referee has given a free. Kildare say it was a 1-on-1.
A very scoreable free.
Didn't look on an initial viewing anyway, Kevin, that it was a free. And this is squeezed inside the far over post by centre half forward Mark Poland.
Well, here it is, eyes on the ball. Well, those legs definitely tangled. That's an accidental tangle in my view. But I ain't the referee, Marty.
Well, it's back to 5 points of a difference. Oh, great catch by Caleb King. Coming forward, Damien Rafferty. Ulrich Shamrocks. Same area of the field that DJ Kane was operating, down that left wing back in 1994. Picked up by Hugh McGrillen. Under pressure by 3 down forwards. And where are the rest of the Lily Whites? Because it comes straight to Caleb King. Danny Hughes, Mark Poland, Andrew McLaughlin. Giving it back, Conor McGinn. Kevin McKernan. McGinn wanted it again. 5-25. Now, where does that go? Linesman indicates it's a Kildare ball. 14 minutes played in the second half. Going down the middle, passes going astray for Kildare. Down defence gobbling up all those loose balls and laying them off cleverly for his players like Conor McGinn. Kevin McKernan. Build up is slow and methodical. Ends up with Declan Rooney. Floats one in here. Comes for his Marty Clark. Available over this side is Kieran McCain. Half blocked by Brian Flanagan. And it comes for his Emmett Bolton. Diagonal ball works out fine. Over for his Ronan Sweeney. Referee has blown his whistle for something off the ball. A little bit of a jersey pull. And there's a free in for Kildare. He's pointing to Kevin McKernan. And it could well be a yellow card for the down number 6.
Maybe a ticking on this occasion because he was holding him back from making his run. That's essentially a little bit of holding involved. Well spotted, it has to be said. This goes on a lot, obviously off the ball, preventing forwards making the runs. Backs generally getting away with it, but well spotted this time. And it's an opportunity, and they need these.
Carl Ennis from Maynooth is going to take this. Playing intercounty football with his county for the last 7 years. This is his first championship appearance in the summer of 2010. It's his first free, first score. Kildare are still in contention.
This was the opportunity you spoke about earlier on. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant play by Fitzpatrick. And there's the block. And then the keeper gets it. And it was number 5, Morgan O'Flaherty, threw himself across that ball bravely. And for it, he was substituted. It's a tough old game out there.
Referee just having a word with Peter Fitzpatrick and Andrew McLaughlin. Some off the ball activity, which is fair enough. At least he's given them a fair warning. Scoring chances for down, 12 out of 22, 10 out of 20 for Kildare at the moment. Linesman, referee has blown his whistle. We all agree it's a Kildare ball. Aiming every time for Johnny Doyle. And once again he wins it. Battling this time with Aidan Brannigan. Has to go back outside for Eamon Callahan. 4 down players around him. The defensive play by Down is most impressive. Kevin McKernan lays it off for Declan Rooney. Marty Clark comes and gathers. Controls, lays it off. Where's Conor McGinn? In the centre it's Peter Fitzpatrick. Goes long now. Battle between Hugh McGrillen and Benny Coulter. Referee hasn't blown his whistle. Some people thought it certainly looked like a push. And it's Hugh McGrillen that comes away with it from full back. Puts it into the path of centre half back in Bolton. Didn't quite make it. Danny Hughes is there. Under pressure from the centre half back. Free for the county of Down. You have to give great credit, Kevin, to the Down defensive strategy,
brilliant.
because they're swarming back.
Yeah.
They're there in numbers, 3 and 4 of them.
Yeah, and the pressure without fouling that they're putting on the ball is really excellent. Top drawer. But Down have the bit between their teeth, there's no doubt about it. Kildare have to come on to them now.
Kevin McKernan lays it off as Aidan Brannigan. Not a good ball, but they still, look at the numbers, they're there again. Daniel McCartney. And it ends up with Aidan Brannigan. Into the path of Mark Pollard. Oh! Touch there on Danny Hughes it was. It was a little bit late, and the referee is going to have to make a judgment here. It was left half back, left midfielder Hugh Lynch that came, and the tackle was just a little bit late, and it's a yellow card for him.
But in fairness, Hughes is flying onto this ball, so any contact is going to put him off, and Lynch does clip him. And that's just about right. The yellow card is what it deserves. The reason he just goes to ground is he's going at such pace there, and of course he's light, so any contact is going to put him down.
Danny Hughes scored 2 points. Is on, and you can see there's a substitute as well for Kildare. This is Robert Kelly. And he comes into the full forward line instead of Alan Smith. Meanwhile, Marty Clark will try to re-establish Down's 5-point advantage that they had at the break. Straight over the black spots. Never in any doubt. Down 112, Kildare 10 points. 15 minutes to go.
I can imagine it's going to need a Kildare goal even at this stage with 15 to go, Marty. They're just not making enough chances on this match.
Great fielding again in the middle of the field. This time it was Declan Rooney that was gathering. Here comes Danny Hughes again. A great burst of speed. Emmett Bolton trying to put in the challenge. Still Hughes lays it off. Fires Benny Coulter. Hughes is there for the return. How many steps is that, Benny Coulter? I'm not too sure. He's under severe pressure. The ball is kicked out. Comes out. Fires Conor McGinn, and under pressure it's dropping over the bar. Corner forward by nature. Once he got the opportunity, he took it. Conor McGinn. Ball came out more accidentally off the boot of a Kildare defender, but given any sort of a chance, he's able to put it over.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That's a fantastic score by Conor McGinn.
Coming through the middle, Kevin McKernan. Benny Coulter. Marty Clark. Lovely ball. Chance here. It's all over the bar. Peter Fitzpatrick coming through the middle.
Look at the pass, Marty.
Oh, class.
Down his throat. That's a goal chance if he wants to. He's taking his point because he knows this will put them up 7, and it's getting close to game over time now. Down are so on top, certainly in the scoring stakes, moving the ball brilliantly.
Corey O'Neill goes for a long ball. This is the vital break for Kildare. It's Eamon Callan going to get around the keeper. The Little Whites are back in this All-Ireland semi-final.
I just said it was getting close to game over time.
It's not. Still 13 minutes to go. They rejoice in the Hogan stand, the Devon end. Eamon Callan had to work real hard here to get around the keeper and lash it. A brilliant Kildare goal.
Yeah, he held his head all right, took a lot of steps, it must be said, but rifles it to the net. But he was possibly been fouled, that's why he was let go.
4 points between the teams. And the next ball is vital. Mark Poland. Down towards Paul McMonaghy. Support arrival. The shape and form of Declan Rooney. There's a third man challenge there. Referee didn't seem to spot it. Aidan Brannigan. Marty Clark floats one in for Benny. Gets the benefit of the hop. Still Benny Coulter. Better angle here for a right-footed footballer. It's a goal and 2 points for Benny Coulter.
Great score again. Clark again involved. Okay, the bounce goes well for Coulter, but like that's fantastic scoring. How good is that? That's terrific.
Benny Coulter has dreamt of playing in an All-Ireland football final since he made his debut 10 years ago. He played in a minor final and then continued on in the senior game. And over the last 10 years has had little or no success. And as he said in an interview with ourselves for RT News during the week, he was determined to give it everything in this All-Ireland semi-final. Ball given away yet again by Kildare. Mark Poland continues to work hard. The layoff is half blocked sufficiently well enough to allow Ronan Sweeney take up the responsibility. Marty Clark was calling for it inside. Brian Flanagan floats one in. 3 against 3 here. Punched away. Sideline ball for Kildare. Down are making a change. Ronan Murtagh was really impressed in every game that he's been introduced. Scored a goal in 5 against Sligo, comes on at left half forward for Paul McComiskey. Man down injured is Mark Poland. He actually went off the panel for a number of seasons, but since he came back, what a contribution. Johnny Doyle is going for the score here, but it won't make it. 10 minutes to go in this All-Ireland semi-final. 10 minutes for Kieran McGeeney and Niall Carew to come up with a plan that just might break down this pretty determined, pretty solid down defence.
Yeah, and Paul McComiskey coming off, made a big contribution, but Ronan Murtagh comes on, another man that has made a big contribution in the championship, 1-6 to his name, so he knows well how to score, he knows how to hold on to the ball. They're skillful forwards, very fast, very snappy on the ball, won't make any difference, seamless exchange.
Brian Flanagan fouled, wanted to give it quickly. Far as Hugh Lynch. Long ball required. It's a great kick. It's a brilliant point. Wonderful score by the substitute who came in for Dermot Earley. He certainly has performed quite well. And this is a cracking point from in front of the Hogan. 4 points.
Kildare are continuing to play, Marty, and you have to take your hat off to them. They've been in a pretty dark hole the early part of the second half, but they're fighting away, but Down are giving them nothing easy. They're going to make them fight to get back into it, that's for sure.
Calum Kane got a couple of touches on it before it eventually arrived at its destination. Marty Clark fouled this time by David Lyons. Sunday game, of course, tonight starts at 9:30 on RT2. See highlights of this match. There's Marty Clark. Rather first mistake, I would say, Kevin, for Marty.
Yeah.
Not usual for him.
No, he very rarely wastes ball. Didn't have a lot in front of him, and confidence is high, of course, Marty. You can never rule out that he fancied himself from that distance. You said he hasn't made a mistake at all, essentially, in this game. He's been terrific.
Kick out by McCormack. Well gathered by Dan Gordon. Now operating all the way out in that midfield area as well. I haven't actually seen too much of Dan. He's had a quiet game because the ball didn't come in that much, really.
Anything that did, he
dealt with it. Mark Poland. Benny Coulter. Lays it off. Nice 1-2 with Ronan Murtagh. Back to Murtagh. Lovely little bit of ball control. Still going strong. Cul-de-sac of white jerseys. Danny Hughes seemed to touch it along the ground. Went by Benny Coulter. There's a push on the Kildare man. Free out for the Lily Whites. David Lyons. Oh. And the referee is going to definitely give a free to Kildare for that challenge by Calum King. To be fair to Calum, he was going for the ball.
He was, yeah. Absolutely.
But it's still a yellow card for the midfielder.
But he was committed, he kept his eye on the ball. There was absolutely nothing malicious in it. He's well entitled to go for the ball. The pass was a bit high, but I think you'll see it is a yellow, but it's certainly just in the heat of the moment.
Just arrived late.
Got there as early as he could, Marty.
Should have taken the earlier train, Kevin. Anyway, here come Kildare. They're pumping in the high ball again. Hugh Lynch. Oh, that's a brilliant point. It's his second point in this All-Ireland semi-final. He might be a substitute for Dermot Earley, but Hugh Lynch has made quite an impact.
He's done extremely well. That's the second one. And interestingly, all the speculation about Ambrose Rogers and Dermot Earley, and neither have been able to make a contribution, which is unlucky for both of them, but we'll still have a terrific game of football.
5.5 minutes left in Croke Park. 3 points between the sides. Kick out, straight down the middle. Up goes Calum King. Gathered by Danny Hughes. Chased by Andrew McLaughlin. Plenty of support behind. Mark Poland. Also calling Conor McGinn. Having scored a point. Has to try and get inside the 45. He's now there. David Lyons almost fouled, didn't. Mark Poland orchestrates, backfires Marty Clark. Rarely puts a pass wrong. Caleb King outside, fires Ronan Murtagh on the turn, takes a shot over the bar. Just when you think Kildare are getting just that little bit up close and personal, Down have the ability to respond.
Well, that was the point I was making about Murtagh. They can exchange in 2 or 3 of their substitutes, their offensive substitutes, and they're really, you know, they all have loads of skill and fast feet and accuracy. And Murtagh, he'll be fighting hard for a place in the final if they get there, as looks pretty likely now.
The man who won an All-Ireland minor back in 1999, Ronan Murtagh. Now, out of Kildare, got left in the attack. Carl Ennis brought to ground, free for Kildare. Kildare just won't go away. They've been outplayed in midfield, outplayed tactically in the sense of Marty Clark's effectiveness, but they're still there. The spirit of Kildare is unquenchable. But will they have enough to beat Down, or at least draw level?
Well, you'd imagine this is going to put it back to a 3-point game, and bar there's a 2 or 3 minutes added on, I don't think there will be that amount. It's hard to see if they're going to have enough time without getting another goal.
The referee is indicating, I think, there's a deliberate delay or something, because he's pointing to his watch. Johnny Doyle has picked up the ball.
It's a blood, yeah.
It's a blood substitute, a blood problem with Carl Ennis, I think, down on the sideline.
Yeah, I'd say he got a few studs when he went to ground that time. Lads just went over him in the heat of the moment.
Excellent.
No big deal.
Johnny Doyle, if he puts this over, he's the top scorer in the championship, ahead of Bernard Brogan. But much more importantly, it reduces Down's lead. 6 points for Johnny Doyle in an All-Ireland semi-final. It's back to 3 points. 3 minutes left.
Number 22, Carl Ennis, has been replaced by Alan Smith, who is now wearing...
This is Alan Smith. He's wearing number 2 jersey, but he's a blood substitute. So this is Carl Ennis, who obviously got a nasty head injury. The jersey will have to come off as well. Fresh one about to be put on. Away he goes. Number new 22. The battle may not be going their way, but you have to admire the Lily Whites. Hugh Lynch, inspiration in the second half. Was he fouled? Referee says he was. Free from where the ball landed. And Kildare, no, the time is ticking away. Happy with a point. Pádraig O'Neill drops it wide. Not the right option, I feel.
No, I have to agree with you. Might have brought it in a bit more, because a lot of guys are under pressure now. If you carry that into the defence, you might attract a foul. Certainly he needed to be deadly accurate from that distance, and wasn't.
Alan Smith returns back to the substitute bench, as Carl Ennis is now back at full forward or corner forward. 2.5 minutes left in the All-Ireland semi-final. Who has the ball? It's Declan Rooney. Free for Down. And Down will certainly play it cool. They'll feed Marty Clark. Benny Coulter gets by Hugh McGuillan. Just been told there's going to be 3 additional minutes. Sideline ball for Down. Marty Clark going to take it from the correct position. Kieran McGeeney. Niall Carew watch anxiously. A beautiful rob by Hugh McGuillan. Brian Flanagan. Possession now is vital. Pádraig O'Neill gets by the challenge. Kildare come in pursuit of scores, and it's a great ball all the way down towards James Kavanagh. 2 down defenders after Daniel McCartan and Damien Rafferty. Still Kavanagh with possession. Has to go all the way out. Here's a chance for Kelly to shoot off the post and wide. Robert Kelly had a pop. Ball slipped out from James Kavanagh. This is desperately unlucky, really. And when you consider that they hit the post off a rocket of a shot by Eamon Callaghan, you just sense that perhaps this is Down's day.
And can I make just one other point, Marty? We've just gone over 70. There's 3 points in it, and we had a very, very controversial goal in the first half. These are the small inches, millimetres, call them what you want, that separate them. Very, very little.
Down substitute is on. James Colgan coming on from Mark Poland. Only a goal will keep Kildare alive in the championship of 2010. John Doyle, look where he is. Inside his own 65. He's going for it long. 4 against 3. This is Carl Ennis. Slips it forward. Chance of a point. David Lyons taps it over the bar. 2 points between the teams. Almost 71 minutes played. 2 minutes of injury time still to go. Is there time for Kildare? Is there time for Down to hold on? 62,182 thoroughly enjoying and an absorbing All-Ireland semi-final. Kildare fans, Down fans, intermingle, all praying anxiously. Is the dream going to be fulfilled? Are they going to come back for the 3rd Sunday in September? Latching onto this is Danny Hughes. Is that a free? Referee has blown his whistle. What's he going to do here?
Down.
Looks like it's going to be a free for Down.
And this will be a key one now for Marty Clark. Great striker at the ball. He scored quite a few of them this season. 445s to his credit, I make it. So this is well within his range. And this essentially will be the clincher. Certainly Kildare won't be winning today. They might have a chance for a last-minute goal. But this is a big, big kick now. This is an insurance point in many respects.
Well, Marty Clark will have to wait because Hugh Lynch is still down injured. What a second half he produced. 2 magnificent points. Plays with Confey, an intermediate club. Made his first appearance against Antrim in the qualifiers, and he was on the under-21 team that won Leinster in 2004. Hugh is okay. Substitute on is Tomás O'Connor. And the name Tomás O'Connor is synonymous with Offaly football. This is his son. He's on for Kildare. Marty Clark to take this vital kick. 72 minutes, 45 seconds gone. And this has gone wide.
We'll get another attack, I think, out of it, and that'll be the height of it. So they need to get the goal now.
It's absorbing. Shane McCormick goes for down the middle. What a catch in the middle of the field. Johnny Doyle, who is not a midfielder in terms of intercounty football. He gives it long. Look at that for fielding. James Kavanagh. Carl Ennis has gone inside. Referee blows his whistle. Kavanagh wants to take it quickly. Overfires David Lyons. Gets inside the cover. Blocked down. It's there again. Rebounds. They're all over the place. There's a touch along the ground. The penalty. Is it coming? The referee has been called. The referee says it's a throw ball. Kildare protest. My gosh, there's plenty to talk about in this All-Ireland semi-final.
He's going to throw it anyway. That's the end result. Oh, it's a ruck in there. Impossible to say anything with any accuracy. But anyway, we'll follow the play.
Tension palpable. Kildare have to get it. Tomás Connor lays it off. This is Brian Flanagan trying to get through. Referee's blown his whistle. And all of Down seem to be inside the large rectangle. There's nobody home but Shane McCormick, the Kildare keeper, at the other half of the field. Everybody is down at the Davin end. Johnny Doyle is listening to Pat McEnany. This is possibly the last kick of the game. Drama. Johnny Doyle is looking for further details. Pat McEnany is giving it. Down want to eavesdrop. What's it going to be? Can they create a plan? They talk about plan A and plan B in Croke Park. They have to come up with something here. Plan C is creative, and they've got to rattle the back of the net.
Robbie Kelly has it, hasn't he? Now,
Robbie Kelly.
Does it have to go direct? Can it hit someone and fly into the net? These are all the questions they're wondering about. Is everybody back 13 metres? It's going to be difficult to police, Marty. Almost impossible, I'd say.
9 Down footballers on the goal line. Off the line, Brendan McVeigh, the keeper, with another defender, McCartney. Here comes the shot. Kelly goes for it. through to the All-Ireland football final on the 19th of September. Heartbreak for Kildare, joy for Down. Marty Clark will be back here facing Cork as Down rejoice. Incredible scenes in Croke Park as Benny congratulates his colleague. Ambrose Rogers, the captain of the team, comes onto the field because it is the men from the county of Mourne that will be back to face Cork for the first time in the GAA's history since it was founded in 1884. We will have a Cork Down All-Ireland football final. The last time Down played Cork was in an All-Ireland semi-final in 1994. Down won by 5 points. For Kildare, heartbreak for Pádraig O'Neill. For Johnny Doyle, at 32 years of age, they tried everything. They were outplayed at midfield. Mark Poland played a vital role. For Kieran McGeeney, it is once again back to the drawing plan. But look at this. King Benny is the signal from the Hill 16 crowd because Down will be bidding for their 6th All-Ireland. The picture that tells the story. Heartbreak for Johnny Doyle. Tears of absolute disappointment.
And let's not forget in all the excitement that actually that last free by Robbie Kelly crashed off the crossbar. It was so close, it really was that close, but overall Down were the better team, it has to be said, the more deserving team. But heartbreak for Kildare, but I'm pretty sure this hits the crossbar. A blaster pushed onto the crossbar.
Fingertips.
There you go.
Literally fingertips away. Onto the crossbar, rebound out and cleared. You'd have to feel for the Kildare boys because they gave it everything. But your point is well made, Kevin. Despite the drama and despite the talking points, overall, Down were the better team. They will debate about Benny Coulter's goal because for the first 12 minutes, it was all Kildare. It was clearly a square ball. And when you think of Eamon Callaghan's shot that came pinned off the post, when you think of Robert Kelly's shot off the post and the crossbar, you say Kildare were just a little bit unlucky.
Of course they were, and but to the victors the spoils, as they say, and Down were terrific. You know, Kildare slight favourites, but Down came into this and took the game on straight on from start to finish, never gave up.
Dermot Earley congratulates Dan Gordon and says best of luck to Kevin McKernan, and it's back, of course, for Kildare. Benny Coulter, 2 great footballers there. Shake hands. One is feeling the pain and anguish of defeat. The other, the heartbeat is just going a little bit faster because the dream is now going to happen. The Down are going to be back here in Croke Park on the 19th of September. For Kildare, well, it's been an amazing journey. They finally got through to an All-Ireland semi-final, and what drama for them. Johnny Doyle may end up the top scorer of the championship, but for him, it'll be a night, week, months of disappointment and analysing and thinking what could have happened. For Kildare fans, they're some of the best in the country. And there she is, proud as could be, despite defeat in this All-Ireland semi-final. She's proud of where she's from, and she's right to be.
Well, absolutely, her team died, as I say, with their boots on. But Down just had that little bit more class in the end. A fantastic result for them. And when they get to finals, we know what they generally do. So Cork had better be warned. Well, I'm sure they are. It's all the makings of a terrific final now on the 19th.
Well, back in 1960, Down won their first All-Ireland. 1994 was their last. Down are slow in a wall at the moment, but they will return. Led by James McCarthy, who's done it as a player in 1991 and 1994. We remember the goal. Set up by Mickey Linden, and now Mickey Linden's clubmate Benny Coulter is one of James McCarthy's charges. They were level only once. Kieran McGeeney goes back and says how proud he is of Kildare, and he should be. Kevin McStay and myself mightn't be from Kildare, but we feel that pride because despite being outplayed in several sectors, they gave it absolutely everything. Nobody, hardly anybody is leaving Croke Park because this was a game that nobody could really take their eyes off. They were level only once. There was 62,187 people. A standing ovation for the Lily Whites. They may have lost to Louth back on the 5th of June by 122 to 116. They came through the qualifiers. They beat Leitrim, Derry, Monaghan and Meath before coming back and just, well, the paint, the referee's decision denied them a place in the All-Ireland final. But congratulations to Down. they can book their tickets, if they can get the tickets, for Croke Park on the 19th of September. Full-time score in Croke Park in the second of the All-Ireland semi-finals. Down 116, Kildare 114.
And those tickets could be hard to come by, our thanks to Marty Morrissey and to Kevin McStay. Colin O'Rourke, Kevin said in the commentary there, we're looking forward to a great final. We've had a sensational semi-final last Sunday, another one this Sunday, so we might as well have a sensational final.
Yeah, it was a wonderful sporting occasion, played by two teams in the proper spirit, just like last Sunday. Just two fantastic days to be here in Croke Park, but Down were the better side. Kildare were very brave in the way they came back and could have snatched that at the end. But overall, Down had the better players. They had nobody on the Kildare side who could control Marty Clark and Danny Hughes and Brendan Coulter when he came into it in the second half. But Kildare, for all their failings in failing to get any ball really out of the middle of the field, just kept going, and what a dramatic finish. If the ball had to end up in the net now, it would have been a sickener for Down, because really they should have closed the game out and were a better team than 2 points. And of course it'll all come back to that square ball goal the first half, but allowing for that, Down were still the better team.
Yeah, Pat?
Yeah, it was, can I concur with Colm? It was an outstanding, excellent game of football. Very much like last week, a roller coaster ride of emotion. Everything that was good about the game of Gaelic football was there. Played in the right spirit, played very positively. And unlike last Sunday, you know, the best team won. And why did Down win? Down won because they had the better natural footballers. They had a better forward line. Seven Down forwards scored today. They had more pace, they had more composure, they were more comfortable on the ball. Their pressure play really affected Kildare, and Kildare had no idea how to counteract the sweeper system, whether it was Kevin McKiernan or whether it was Damien Rafferty. They just seemed to have no way around. The best team won. It was really, really enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to what will be a great final, I think.
Oh, it should be, no doubt about that. This is an amazing journey over the last 12 months or so that James McCartan has taken this team on.
No one should underestimate the brilliance of James's achievement, because Down were really in a very bad situation in the doldrums. He spent 4 years with Queen's experimenting with these sorts of defensive systems, and I think it's a big advantage that he has over someone, say, like Pat Gilroy, because he has actually managed teams and he has seen it working, and you saw there the greater versatility of Down's plan. I mean, they took Johnny Doyle, James Kavanagh and Alan Smith out of the game completely. You know, so once you've achieved that and you get a lead up, you know, and you've got someone like Clark who's such an oasis of calm there. You know, he reminds me of those great American quarterbacks who seem to have all day every time he got the ball. Another thing I thought in the second half was the Down's tradition of sevens football stood to them. Their movement of the ball out of that packed defence, you know, their passing. In fact, if Down had sort of been a bit more clever with their use of the ball in the second half, they would have scored a lot more, because there were 2 or 3 occasions when they looked as though they might be in for a goal. So altogether a brilliant triumph, you know, conceived on the sideline and executed on the field. A brilliant triumph. I can't sort of underestimate it.
And yet, Colin, one kick at the ball at the end, it could have been, we'd be having a different conversation here.
Absolutely. Kildare created a few goal chances, but then, like, you know, you had a ruck in the goals which could have been a penalty. A 20-metre free which turned out to be a 13-metre free, and was rocketing into the back of the net until a Down player got his hand to it.
2 Down players got their hands to it,
and they needed the 2 hands to get
Actually,
it up
you know,
against
the
bar.
difference between the two teams was probably highlighted in those final 5 minutes. Down always had composure on the ball. Kildare were panicky, and they took the wrong shot options, and they just showed a lack of composure in those vital 5 or 6 minutes when they were dominating possession.
Also,
you know?
do you think, Pat, that having come into the game, having beaten a Monaghan team that were dead on their feet, and an Meath team that psychologically looked all over the place, that maybe Kildare thought they were...
But you know what,
they weren't ready for Down's intensity.
But one of the things
faced
about
that,
Kildare,
you know?
and we said about Kildare played 6 weeks in a row, 6 matches in a row, and we said they built up a huge amount of momentum. And we often wondered how would they react to the 3-week break?
Yeah.
And you know, when you have momentum going and you're playing matches every week, it's better than any training. And certainly they lost that little bit of the same momentum that we saw in the quarter-final wasn't there today.
We're going to take another short break here in the programme. Back with more on this afternoon's All-Ireland semi-finals straight after that. All-Ireland football final on the 19th of September. This afternoon it finished down 1 goal and 16 points. Kildare 1 goal and 14 points. Joe Brawley, Colin Rourke and Pat Spillane here with me in the studio. Pat, I'm going to go back to the first half, to the Benny Coulter goal. We said at the time that this would be crucial, could be crucial at the end, and it has been.
And it has been, and I mean, it's unfortunate that Kildare have lost an All-Ireland semi-final because of a goal that shouldn't have been allowed. It's clear there is no ifs and buts. There's no 50-50. There's no need for video evidence. Benny Coulter is clearly in the small square before the ball arrives. It's a free out. In McEnany's credit, he went to the umpires. The umpires made an awful blunder in that case.
It's more complex than that, though, Pat. I mean,
It's very simple,
hold on. Kildare didn't lose that match because of that moment. It's far more complex than that.
I didn't say that, Joe.
I didn't.
Sorry, Joe.
It's not a critical moment.
Hold on a second. It was, but he said they lost an All-Ireland semi-final as a result of a bad decision, and that's not right.
Well, they would have. If that wasn't, listen, Joe. Listen, Joe. If that wasn't allowed, Kildare would have been.
I understand that.
Hang on a second. Let Pat make his point.
Down went 7 points up halfway through the second half, having really dominated the game through that whole phase of the game.
Joe,
it's more complex now. I understand it's an important moment, but I wouldn't get carried away with it.
114, Joe. The scoreline says Kildare 114, down 116. It was clear that the down goal should not have been allowed.
I agree.
I'm saying
the impact of the goal was at the time.
Yes.
Kildare were actually dominating the game at the time. That was the important thing, because it actually gave Down a foothold in a game where Kildare obviously had gone out and decided, you know, we need to blitz them early on. And they had done to a certain extent, and they'd won a lot of possession and kicked a few bad wides. And then it definitely did lead to a marked shift in the whole tempo of the game. Down got in control and not only got the goal, but then moved on and scored 3 points afterwards.
In fairness to the point that Joe is making, Colin, there were other incidents in the game. Like John Doyle had a chance of a goal that hit the post that could also have changed the complexion of the game.
There's no doubt about that, because
that was the key
Kildare
moment.
needed the goal to get back into the game earlier, and this came with about 20 minutes to go. I think it's Eamon Callaghan gets the ball and hits it off his left foot. And Kildare only started to make a bit of headway when they kicked the ball really long right inside. And, you know, it was a great attempt, but to make it worse then, of course, Owen O'Flaherty kicked the chance wide from the resultant ball hitting the post. So it was a double
that was the key
for Kildare.
Colin's spot on. That was the key moment of the game, because it was 20 minutes to go when it changed the dynamic at that stage. The point is this, though, that when Kildare did score the goal, Down came straight down the field and scored a point.
They did. Benny Coulter scored a fantastic point, made it 5
points again.
Yes,
and you felt at that stage that the game was really won. And I'll have to say this about Kildare. They showed astonishing courage in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, because Down were totally destroying them at midfield. It was all Down, and yet Kildare really put their bodies in the line. And you would have to say, I mean, it was an admirably courageous performance.
Michael, statistics don't lie. Kildare kicked 12 wides, as opposed to Down's maybe 8 or something like that. But can I pay tribute to John Doyle? John Doyle is 32 years of age, in the autumn of his career. Scored 6 points today. He's the lead. He's now going to be the highest scorer in this year's championship, higher than Bernard Brogan, who's possibly in line for Football of the Year. So a remarkable performance. And like I said, we have to admire the courage and the resilience of that Kildare team that really kept going till the very end. But we're just found wanting against a better footballing, more skillful team.
John Doyle did everything right there. The post just denied him, Colin. And at the very end, like Joe said, Kildare put their bodies on the line. Down had to put their bodies literally on the line to prevent this. The post again and a fingertip.
Yeah, we nearly had another pushover try here at
it was like rugby league at the end. It was making the point.
I think it's Callum King
gets
the ball, because it's a rocket of a shot.
I think it touched two. I think it touched
Callum
two
King,
pairs
number
of
9.
hands.
Watch number 9.
He gets
Callum King. That's his left hand.
Oh my God! And that was in the net.
That was going in.
Oh, it was.
And that's, you know, Kildare, who didn't play well at all. You know, their passing wasn't as crisp as usual. Their foot passing was poor. They gave the ball away. They kicked bad wides.
It was pressure, Colin. It was pressure.
They were there at the end.
But let's hear what the Down manager has to say about it all. That, of course, is James McCartney. I'm sure he's a very happy man. He's talking to Joanne Cantwell.
James, I'm sure you're a very happy man as well, and yet you kept your players in for quite some time in that changing room. How come?
Well, we wanted to get them back down to earth as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's a great victory, but there's nothing won yet.
I'd say, though, your nerves must have been shot with the way the game ended.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose when we're 6 points up with 10 minutes to go, and full credit to Kildare and typical geezer. They came back at us and never say day attitude. And look, that last one that hit the crossbar could have went anywhere, and it could have been heartbreak for us. But luckily, we got the rub of the green.
Do you think it would have been rough justice had they snuck it at the end?
Probably maybe in 70 minutes you might think that, but if the team come from 6 down and win in the last 10 minutes, you have to give them credit. So no is the answer.
We've heard all the worry and concerns, understandably, about Ambrose Rogers, but you went out there and you completely dominated around the middle of the field.
Well, Peter Fitzpatrick came in and I think he showed that he's starting to fulfil a bit of potential. So look, we're delighted with the way he performed, and also Callum King had another monster game, so we're delighted with that as well.
In fact, control might be the word to sum up a lot of your performance all over the pitch today.
Well, I don't know about that. We won by a point. I'm not sure if we can control the game. We certainly looked dangerous in patches when we got the ball to our forward line. We looked as if we could create chances and score, but Kildare kept like a dog at your ankle. They just wouldn't go away, and they kept coming and coming.
Do you think the damage you did in the first half was key to the way the game turned out?
Well, we started off very poorly, I felt in the first quarter they dominated the break ball, and we were living on scraps, and we got a goal and I don't know, square ball or whatever, I'm not sure, but we were delighted because it obviously clawed us back into the game. We kicked on from that, but I thought we probably took over in the latter part of the second half and the first part of the second half, but fair play to them, they still kept coming.
Not for the first time we saw Marty Clark go in there and orchestrate absolutely everything for Down, it seemed.
Well, we like to think there's other people playing too, but yeah, look, we're delighted to have that man back, and look, he's a vital player for us, and he's doing it on the biggest stage of all in Ireland, so look, we're just happy to have him.
I'm sure you're happy to have this other man who's standing beside you as well, yeah. Benny Coulter. I asked James, were his nerves gone? Have you managed to recover with the way that game ended?
No, it was grand. Like there at the end, it was a bit panicky with that free kick. So, you know, I think Brendy got a hand it, and thankfully the whistle was blew at the end, and we're through anyway.
You can't have been that calm at the time, surely.
No, it was. We had about 10 boys in the line, so it's going to be very hard for them to get through. Like, so now we're there anyway, and we're delighted.
You must be delighted as well with the performance as a whole over the 70 minutes.
Yeah, it was very good. You know, defence there held out well. There was a period in the first half where they right at the start of the game where they had maybe 3 or 4 chances and they didn't take them, and we came up and we got that goal and a few points, and we went in at half time, a few points up, and you know, we done well. Like.
Was it in your heads going to the game, given how poorly Kildare have started matches this summer, that you needed to make sure that they didn't get off to a good start and you to a poor start today?
Well, we talked about it, and we thought they would have come out flying, you know, and we thought maybe after 20-25 minutes it would have been very tight, and we were 3 points up. We didn't think we would be, but we knew they were going to come out fast at the start, and we just saved ourselves and try and stay with them, and we'd go hard at them then when they come back at us. So, you know, that's the way it turned out. We won there in the end. As I say, we're very happy.
Well, Benny Coulter, it's wonderful to see you in an All-Ireland final at last.
Thank you.
Well
Thanks
done.
It is, we'd all agree with that, but commiserations once again to Kildare. Now, we've almost come to the end of the programme here.